Hello everyone, so we will wait for the people to join in, then we can start. Little bit of tan, it's okay, not bad. So today we have an agenda wherein we'll be speaking about our recent expeditions and our upcoming expeditions. So we have Rajni already here. Hi Gayatri, hi Rajni. Just listen man. Right, so we'll wait for a few more minutes before we start our ascent, which is the Instagram live TV we try to do every Thursday, and whenever we are not climbing. Whenever we are climbing, can't help it. So today our agenda is we'll be speaking about our upcoming trek, which is Patalsu, and yeah, nice haircut. Haircut is nice because finally Corona is taking a back seat to a certain extent. That's why we got this opportunity of getting a haircut done. Yeah, but then not digressing. So we recently had Patalsu followed by EBC, and now just now we finished two batches of Friendship Peak, as well as not two batches, two peaks, Friendship Peak and Kshitidhar. So we'll be speaking about that. Apart from that, we'll be speaking what is a beginner level trek. A lot of people, they keep asking that once we are promoting Kun, they'll ask they want to join Kun, not understanding that the magnitude for Kun is immense, and there are few people who don't know the difference between beginner, intermediate or advanced level. So we'll be trying and clarifying those points during our interaction today. So in case you have questions, as always, feel free to ask. We'll be more than happy to answer you. Hope I'm audible and visible, right? So with this as background, let's set the ball rolling. We'll also have our guest today, two people. One is going to be Dev Karan was there with us for Patalsu, and we also have Amol, who's just joined us for Friendship Peak. So it's going to be fun interacting with them and knowing their experiences. Why did they choose to climb? What kind of preparation is needed? Because every individual is different. They need different levels of preparation, right? So with this as a background, we set the ball rolling. So I am Romil, and I love to do expeditions, climbing, and that's how I'm here with boots and crampons, leading few expeditions which I think are okay. So which is so the question right away, great, what is the minimum fitness I should be having for Everest Base Camp? Great question. So if you are joining us, we do Everest Base Camp in a 15-day trek, which means you have adequate time to acclimatize. And if you have adequate time to acclimatize, then it's good that you go step by step, and within our guidance it should be possible. What we require from you once you're joining for Everest Base Camp is that you should be able to trek for 10 to 12 days continuously, because we generally push our climbers a lot. All those who have joined us, they would understand that compared to other treks, even if they're doing the same trek with us, we tend to push them a lot more. So better fitness is needed. So in our case, EBC, if you're doing, you need to be able to trek for 10 days, each day 5 hours, and with a 5 kg of backpack. So three things: 10 days continuously 5 hours, and with a backpack. I am the Beast Bull. What qualities should trek leader have in them? That's a long one. I could go on and on for this, but then major qualities which come just spontaneously, I would say, is that he should be able to judge each and every member of his team. He should understand each and every member of the team, so that in case of any problem, before the person says, he should be able to anticipate that this person is having this kind of a problem. So that is one. He should be a good listener, because it should not be keep saying on and on, which I think I do, but then I should be a better listener, and so should all the trek leaders be. So that's important, to be a good listener and be able to communicate, and he should be able to convince his point to all the people who are there in a proper manner. So it's important. There was another question I missed out. No, where was it? How do we get it? Yeah, sir, does the organization conduct mountaineering courses? Arjun, good question. We would love to conduct the courses, but then problem with people these days is they don't have that much amount of time, and so that's why we restrict ourselves to a 10-day adventure course, which we have a MOU signed up with NIM, and these courses we do it at NIM, which is Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, and we try and make it as power packed as possible. And once I say power packed, it's actually power packed. So if you want to really push your limits, you can learn a lot in those 10 days. But then this, as you would understand, it's not a substitute for a basic course or an advanced course, because those are pretty hectic courses, and those are 28 days. So if you can manage 28 days of leave, must go for them. In case you're running short of time, as most of us are most of the time, then it's advisable that do an adventure course, either with us or anyone else. We are not here to promote ourselves. If you find value in us, you would join. If you don't find, there are a lot of other companies, please go ahead and do that, but then keep doing. It's a beautiful world. Explore and enjoy life. That's what the most important is. So today, as I said, beginner level trek we do is one is Patalsu. We do others in Chamoli as well. But for Patalsu, what we expect is that it's a 4-day trek. Next batch we are starting on 10th of July. If you want to join, most welcome. We are happy to take you along. But then you should have the fitness that you should be able to trek for 3 days. Again, 4 to 5 hours per day, and with a 2 kg of at least a 2 kg of backpack, so that you carry at least the water bottle. If you need porters, we can arrange, but then water bottle is something you need to carry. There's no other option, and a poncho. So roughly about 2 kgs of it you should be carrying. 4 to 5 days of trek you should be able to do. If you're not able to do, please prepare, then join us. We are not going to take you if you say that you're not able. And then you should be physically and medically fit. It should not be that you have some health issues, so that doctor has to clear it off, and then you are welcome to join. Anyone having more questions, please shoot. I'll be happy to answer. As regards the intermediate level trek, something like a Friendship Peak, what we expect people to be doing is that they should have a strong mental strength. There are a lot of people who feel that Friendship Peak is too tough. We had people who were not very much into trekking, but then they did excellent. Rajini, I'm sure, is here, and so is Amul. Amul is going to join us pretty soon. So you need to have a lot of mental strength, then only it's possible, because I'll not lie, but then it was difficult. It's not easy for sure, and if you don't have that mental strength and resilience, you're going to give up. That's for sure. That's what was visible with so many other members. Luckily not from our team, but then from other teams who gave up because weather is not supportive, and a lot of other issues keep cropping up. You're wearing crampons for the first time, so we do a lot of training during our expeditions. So the moment you reach the camp, we don't let you rest or play cards or anything else. We just mean business, which means push, so that you literally cry. But then as we say, those are the tears of happiness. You got to thank yourself for that. Even if you don't thank us, that's not matter. We can understand. So that's important. Dev Karan, where are you? I'm just waiting for you to join. I'm running short of my content, right? So we'll be speaking with Dev Karan about his experiences of Patalsu, and what made him sign up for Patalsu. And also, I think, I can see a pop-up. So no, that's someone else. Sorry, Shady Singh, I cannot. Once I was young, then how many days of training for Friendship Peak? Aarti Thakur. Rather than days. Hi, Dev.
Hi, sir. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Without speaker also, I can hear. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I thought you will be contacting me from some base camp or somewhere in the mountain.
No. We are just back, and Delhi has not been very kind to us. It's been damn, it's not warm, it's hot. So it's just that.
I can understand.
We want to. So, here we have Dev with us. Dev, let's start with your introduction, then we'll take up the questions ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Dev Karan, and I'm basically born and brought up around Bombay, but I'm also from Himachal Pradesh natively. And currently I'm in Himachal, and weather is great. Let me tell you that. And
I'm sure.
I'm a law student, and during my first expedition with boots and crampons, I was in my second year of law school, and now I'm going into my next expedition with boots and crampons again, and I'll be in my third year of law school. So basically, I'm spending all my college life with boots and crampons climbing mountains.
Thank you so much,
And
Dev.
yeah, that's all from my side, sir.
So, before I come on to the questions which I have, tell me your journey from law school to, expeditions, mountaineering. You attribute it to Bombay or Himachal? Which state plays a major role?
Actually, it's both of them. Both have given me a lot. But as I'm in mountains right now, I have to be kind to them. So I'll say Himachal right
True.
now. And so the
Right.
journey started it was as you know COVID time, and as a college student, this is like the most important time of any teenager, I guess. College,
Yes.
when you enjoy with your friends and you go out. So staying inside the room, and it sucks the life out of you. Even being in Himachal, I must say that. And so around Feb, I was following you guys, Boots and Crampons, from 2020 December, and since then I was targeting that which trek I could afford as a beginner, because I was
Right.
seeing all these posts about Everest Base Camp and all the great expeditions, and I thought, like, to begin with, I should start with something that is capable of, like, showing me what kind of fitness levels I'm having right now, and basically in how much water I am, how deep I am.
Correct.
So I remember it was my midterms exams going on, and I saw the post for Patalsu Peak Trek, and I was like, it's here right in Manali, and I have never explored the mountains around me, being in Himachal also. So
Right.
I thought, like, this is the perfect moment, and they are claiming it as a beginner's trek, so I should definitely opt for it. And so what, midterm just got over, and I just called my friends and all that, okay, you handle my classes, bye bye. I'm going for an expedition to the mountains. So
Right.
that's how the journey began of choosing my first trek, my pioneer trek that started my journey, which I'm still continuing. Like recently, I did another trek around Manali all on my own, and all thanks to the first experience itself.
Great. Another thing which intrigues me now is that, you are such a young guy. Generally people who want to join for treks are like me, midlife crisis, 40s wale, kuch karne ko nahi hai. So much of pressure and all. But for a student like you, who's in the, as we say, prime of age, time for clubbing and so many things, how come you chose mountains at this age?
Actually, that was the only thing that was available back then during that time.
That's good. Great, great.
Like, the guidelines had just were at ease, at some ease. That time, the first wave had just ended, and
Right.
my mother was very interested in doing such things, treks and all. So she said, like, see, this is a beginner's trek. I also want to do it sometime. I said, okay. So I saw the brochure and all. I said, huh, this is a chance to get out of home, and it's in my state only. Like, it's
Correct.
just 7-8 hours. Patalsu is just 7-8 hours from my home. So I thought, why not do it? So
Wonderful.
that's how I thought ki I don't have anything else to do right now. So I chose the trek.
Wonderful. And what was your parents' response? Because a young person, rather than choosing playing video games and such stuff, is planned to go on a trek. What was your parents, mother, father, what were they thinking?
So my father, I don't tell my father about my expeditions until and unless I have done them. So once I
Okay,
do them, only then I tell him that, okay, I had gone to that and that place, and my expedition was. I show him the pictures, and all. Then he's, because if I tell him earlier, then what happens, that there will be some restraint, or like, he's kind of like on the safer side, and my mother has all the adventurous craziness that you can
oh, wow.
put in. So yeah,
Very
so
nice.
my mother knew, and she was also a major part in giving me permission as well as motivation that okay, you should do this. So that's how both of them work.
Very nice. Okay, now coming on to Patalsu trek per se, how was your experience? First start with, what kind of preparation did you do for a trek like Patalsu, and then subsequently, did it match your expectations as regards the difficulty level, or was it, too easy or too difficult?
Right. So the way I did my preparation was such that I live in Palampur, that's in Himachal. So
Right.
the geography is such that I have access to small hills, like not the higher 3000 meter, that kind of like miniature level hills and slopes and all that. I had access to that. And
Right.
once I joined for the trek, and when I was added to the WhatsApp group, so that then also there were a lot of people posting that we are doing this run, this we are doing push-ups and this and that. So I kind
Correct.
of combined all of that, and again the natural topography of the region is such that you get those inclines, and I used to go for like 5.6 kilometer of cycling on those hills. So when you are
Okay.
cycling uphill, on plains it's 5.6 is nothing cycling.
Correct. Quads,
Your
hamstring.
body,
Correct.
yeah, it shoots you like anything. So 5.6 kilometer in the morning, 5.6 in the evening. This used to
Oh,
be my like daily routine. No walking or weights I added. That
okay.
happened later on when I
Correct.
gradually like improved my body balance and everything. My legs were strengthened. So then on, what happened? I ordered those shoes. The trekking shoes are very different from what you use, like the basic ones, the sport shoes
Right.
and all. Trekking shoes, they are heavy, and you are obviously not adjusted to the way you're supposed to be walking with them.
Right.
So that was when the shoes came in. So I used to wear those shoes, same track, 5.6 in the morning, 5.6 in the evening, and
Oh,
now only walking. So once
okay.
that happened, yeah, for a week or two, only walking with those shoes. So the shoes the shoes became comfortable with me, and I was comfortable with them. So they were kind enough during the trek for me.
Great.
And yeah, so then later on I added on my backpack. So these
Wonderful.
are the like basic things, like your backpack, your trekking shoes, or maybe if you are having a pole or anything to stimulate that situation, to create that situation that you are going to face later on in the trek. So
Absolutely.
that becomes easy later on. So then again, my backpack, I used to fill it up with only the things, not unnecessary weight like stones or anything, only the
Right.
things that I would use in the trek, like my heavy jacket or whatever camera or anything I'm carrying, or whatever the essentials were. So with that backpack, so what happened is my body, it was already prepared for that particular scenario where I have to wear those heavy shoes and that exact same weight backpack. And that's
Absolutely.
how it happened. Yeah.
Wonderful. With all such preparation, we were there for the Patalsu trek. Day one was fine. So, for the viewers who are listening to us, we are doing a batch on 10th of July. So, what we do is that, first day we reach Manali, we drive down to Solang, and
Right.
from Solang, we go to Shagadug, which is the base camp.
Correct.
Evening, we do this. But then, in our case, after the second day acclimatization trek, things changed completely. How was that experience? Please share that.
So with our batch, what happened was the weather had some great plans for us. Like we were the first batch, or I'll call it the alpha batch of Patalsu. Uh, so the mountain had to show us something, I feel. And so the first 2 days, the weather was really good. Like it was sunny during the afternoons, and mornings were also great, and even the evening it was not that chilly.
Right.
Obviously to some people the temperature affects differently to everyone.
Yeah.
So the weather was great for the first 2 days, but then during the second day, by the end of the evening, there was a twist for our batch, and it started raining. Slight rain was happening, and so my tent mate, he was a really good climber or mountaineer. I'd say he's from Uttarakhand, Arun, and he's very expert in all weather forecasting and all that.
Prediction.
So he
Correct.
told me weather pack up हो रहा है, अभी snowfall होएगा, ये होएगा. But I said, I looked up, I said it looks fine to me. A little bit of rain and everything will be clear. We'll do the summit tomorrow. They said
Right.
नहीं pack up होगा अभी. So then slowly and steadily, within a blink of the eye, like a small tiny like cotton like structures, they started falling from the sky, and it's
Yeah.
my first live snowfall. So I've seen snow
Oh,
before, but this was the first time I saw like live one falling.
snowfall happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So these tiny cotton bits, they were falling, and I was like, okay, this is snowfall, all right. But still, till then, I thought like, ठीक है, अभी भी clear हो जाएगा. Till tomorrow, it will
Absolutely.
get clear. And again, in the blink of the eye, 10-20 minutes after that, it was snowing heavily, like anything. And our batchmates are the ones who, our team and everything, they started playing music, they were dancing and just enjoying the whole vibe was changed in just a matter of minutes. It was
Right.
such. And as the weather, like it took a toll on us later on, like the snowfall was getting heavy and all. So we just went inside our tent, and till dinner time, we was inside the tent. As soon as we zipped those tent down, and like it was dinner time, like you have to go to dinner, we were like, oh my God, you see the floor, it was like someone had, I mean, I can't describe, someone had poured some white powder or something on the floor. We were
Absolutely.
using your headlights and all, and it was like you are walking on the moon or something. It was
Correct.
such. So somehow we managed to enter that kitchen tent, and we had our dinner and everything while it was snow falling and all the things happening. So we had our dinner, and again went to tent, slept, and next day morning, I mean, it was something else. I can't describe it. Like, there are literally no words. I mean, when you closed your tent at the night, it was completely dark, you can't see anything. Morning you get
Yeah.
up, you open the tent, and you are in Narnia. You're
Ah,
literally
obviously.
like, yeah, that girl, like, you open the cupboard and you are in entire Narnia world, like
Different world.
completely snow and everything. It's just so mesmerizing. And so then Arun again said we won't be able to do the summit, but as I didn't have any prior mountaineering experience, so I thought maybe still we can do it somehow.
Right.
But we had like, as things rolled on, and we got to know कि ठीक है, अभी we have to go down, and this is how it will end. But then it was priceless, and you can't expect it, you can't predict it. It
Yeah.
just happens, like nature is waving a hand at you, something like that.
Very right. In fact, I also, having done Everest, you feel at times so timid in front of nature because, you're not able to do even a 4,000-meter summit. So it's not the height which matters. It's, if the nature
Right.
allows you to do it, then it's possible. Else you've seen it personally, how it differs.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, so they tell me this, at one point you had such a out of the world experience, but at the end of the day you were not able to summit. So does it
True.
pinch somewhere that you should have summited or had things not been abnormal? Because this was definitely abnormal.
Yeah, abnormal, or I don't know what to say again, because but as I said, even till the next morning, I was so optimistic about doing the summit. It was only Arun that calmed me down. We won't be able to do the summit.
Right.
But then I did not feel that. Maybe it was because of the snow, the entire landscape, and again, I give it to the nature again, because doing the summit is definitely something which which is actually what motivates you on the earlier days when you see the peak for the first time. You say, okay, we are going on top of that mountain, like we will be there and we will be able to see the entire valley and everything. That is one
Right.
thing. It always stays with you,
Yes.
that you are not able to do it. And obviously, I will do it again, once again, some other time,
Sure.
as that, because that's what the nature teaches you, that the mountain is going to stay.
Yeah.
It will be there. You can come another day. It's all about, like, the entire team has to reach up there. And
Obviously.
what during that time you can't expect anything happening your way. Like usually what the human beings are, like we want everything our way, like it should go like this,
Yes.
like that. But there you are not in the control. It's all
Absolutely.
entirely to the nature. That's
True.
how it is.
So, you had a failed Patalsu and then you gifted your mom for a Patalsu trek. So, and your mom is joining us for, 10th July trek.
Next
How does
batch,
that
yes.
happen? Yeah, how did that happen?
Okay, first of all, I'm jealous of her because she will probably submit. But then again, I also, tease her by showing her the part 3 video of our Pathalsu trek. I
Wonderful.
mean, like, yeah, when I gifted her this trek, so she was very, curious that, okay, so we will get to see that much amount of snow that was there in your video, like all that
Right.
stuff. I said, no, no, don't have those high hopes with you,
Yeah,
because the mountains again are, they're unpredictable. You may get it, you may not get it.
absolutely.
Uh, but again, there is some part of me which is jealous that she'll be able to summit. And the idea of gifting, actually, it happened again. You posted this that you can gift the trek.
Right.
So I was always, whenever I used to gift, even to my friends or say, I was very fond of gifting something that stays with them for a longer duration of time, not just things
Right.
or material, anything, experiences.
Correct.
So I thought this is a very great opportunity for me. And it was my mother who actually motivated me, ki, okay, you should do Patalsu and all.
Right.
And you first go, try it. And like if you get injured or anything happen, that's okay, I'll be safe. So you test it and then
Wonderful.
I'll try. So that way I thought that, yeah. And during the entire experience, I thought, yeah, she'll be able to do it even as a beginner. That was
Right.
the most important thing, because not having any professional mountaineering background or any information as such, that
Right.
makes you wonder, like, what can be the possibilities? Like, will I be able to do it? And or will the person I'm gifting this trek will be able to do it?
Right.
Because they should not be like tired in 5 minutes and then they'll say ki yaar ye kya kar diya.
Correct. Obviously.
Yeah. So my experience was, had a keen role to play in gifting her the trek. So I thought that this would be perfect for her, and she's a busy lady, even for me.
Oh,
And
right.
so I thought that, yeah, it's a 4-day trek. It's the best thing that I could as a youngster give her an
Very
experience.
nice.
So that way I decided, and I told कि हाँ मैंने आपका gift कर दिया, आप जाओ. She said, अच्छा कुछ पैसे वैसे नहीं देने? I said, no, I've gifted you this trek. You go.
Wonderful. That's such a great gesture, and I'm sure you have trained her well because you've been through that grind, and you've been
Definitely.
on those paths again. And fingers crossed, hopefully the weather supports and the family is able to, reach the top of Patalsu, which we are doing, 10th to 13th of
Right,
this July.
right.
So thanks so much, buddy. It was great having you here, and the
Always
experiences were amazing.
experiences, the memories, the team, everything. It was all round package.
Great. Thank you so much. And all those people who want to have a look, uh, those videos have been beautifully made by Dave. You must go and watch them on our channel. And he has made, very detailed one, step by step, each and everything is covered right from climbing to getting down to heavy snowfall. So everything is well depicted. And, thanks Dave for all your support. BNC is always so thankful to you for the work you've been doing for us.
Feeling is mutual, sir. Pleasure is always mine seeing you.
Sure. And all the best, Dave, for your Everest Base Camp trek, which I'm sure you're preparing very hard. And see you soon once we go for the trek.
See you soon too, sir.
Bye, buddy. See you.
Bye bye. Enjoyed.
Thanks. Thank you so much. Really enjoyed. So, guys, that was Dev Karan. He was there with us for the Patalsu trek. And, that's what we've been sharing with him, his experiences and, how he felt not able to do the summit. But then in the bargain, he learned so many new things, and in the end, it does feel bad in the beginning, but then later on you realize that, how timid you are, that you may conquer Everest or whatever you may say conquer, but then it's just the mountains. If it's not your day, if the mountains have decided not to let you climb, nothing can change. So that was amazing on our part listening to Dave. Next we have another Josh type guy like Dave, young blood, and he's going to join us and he's going to share his experiences of Mount Friendship Peak. And boy, let me tell you one thing, it was not easy. And I've been to many peaks, and every time I make the same mistake, I think कि शायद if it is 5,200 शायद easy होगा, which was not the case. So that's where we faltered. So now let's invite Amul, and you can see my face little bit tan, and Amul I just interacted, and his face was hi Amul.
Hello, sir. Jain.
Jayan, bhai, how are you?
Doing good, sir. It's still like feeling like I'm still in the mountains. The heart is left over there.
Great. Your face speaks a lot, much more than the words.
Yes,
Wonderful.
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so first things first. Let's have your introduction. Let the people know who Amul really is. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, hi, hello everyone. So my name is Amul Jaiswal, and I hail from Allahabad, basically now Prayagraj. And I always fond of seeing that green cantonments around my house, and it's just only a mile away. I even measured that with this my bike that it is only a 1600 meters. So I I decided that it is a target that I have to run to that point every day, and I was just practicing that. So. And so since 2011, I've been living in Delhi, and I work in an IT company. Basically, so it's a Boston Scientific. I work as a senior data analyst. So I'm an IT professional, but it will be. So I hope might be people will be surprised to see that a person from the IT is doing a desk job, and he's going to the mountains and sharing his experience. So indeed, it was like. So since 2011, I've been working in this IT industries, and I've been staying in Delhi and have been seeing these different beautiful colors of Delhi and the weather. It's too hot in the summers and too cold in the winters. So you get automatically acclimatized to mountains if you're living in here. Yes. So that's how it's been life so far. And till I met Romil actually through Insta, and then so. That's how it's been. That's my personal life thing have been, and then it's been 3 years of my marriage, and I have a 2-year beautiful old son, and who was like a tornado over my head every day, and just I have to calm him down. So because if my energy gets exhausted, but his energy never gets exhausted. So we have to accommodate all his things so that we make sure that he gets tired and he gets go to the bed, so that he don't bother us at night in the middle of night, that he is awake again with the full of energy. That's how the thing's been. And so initially I just wanted to be in armed forces, but I couldn't make it because I more of a focused on the physical activities rather than the studies. And then I realized after the time, oh man, I have messed it up. Now I have to, there's no way I can just make it right now. But I always followed that discipline thing in life that you should have in your life from the forge thing. And I've always been living a civilian soldier life that I thought of that I'll be living in army. So with the time, as the time goes by and simply the time passes, I started following people on Insta, and like, and then I found Romil, and I realized that he is the man who can actually, help me to fulfill my dream. Might be not through the army, but through the civilian life. So I started following him and catching with him. So later on, then one day we decided that he proposed that there is the trek we are doing, an expedition, a summit, if you are interested into. But moving to that part, that will be a more like interesting factor of the story. But before that, how I actually prepared, that's the main thing. I've been listening to Dave, that how he prepared. Actually, he got that privilege of being into the mountains, into a Palampur, a beautiful state in this a place in Himachal. So initially, I've been into doing workouts through the MMA sessions that I simply do in Croston Fight Club. So it's been like 2 years since 2019. I've been into it. So I thought that doing simply a desk job won't going to help me, and even try to run that was not satisfying for me. So I just wanted something more intense, and I just wanted to get into some real action that I wanted to see. So I just went to the fight club, which is nearby to my house, it is in Janakpuri. And then I went for the trial, and the trainer, he treated me that I'm already the expert one in there, and he trained me. In the very first day I almost vomited, and then I said, sir, okay, I'm paying the fee and I'll continue from tomorrow. So it's been, since then I've been practicing different the fighting arts into it. And basically we have been focusing more on the core strength and the techniques of self-defense. And that really helped me. That was a kind of a privilege that I had that helped me to prepare for this expedition. And this trek was not that easy as I thought of initially. In the last 20, 30 feet, I can tell you now that I really had to crawl on my knees and then on my hand to climb up. It was very intense. Right. So that's how I actually prepared, and then I even told my instructor that these are the goals I have in hand that I am looking forward to achieve, and they helped me accordingly. So they gave me training accordingly, and instead we were doing the regular practice of our self-defense and the BJJs, that is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and other different techniques in this sports, but all the or whatsoever the techniques we were doing, it was all running. So it was not like you're sitting and doing the exercises. It was just so intense every day. And as we all were impacted by this lockdown due to the COVID, and we initially started this online sessions for this the practices, so that we don't have a gap of it. And so when you sit idle after doing so much of intense workouts, you gain weight so quickly. So it will be a very difficult situation to lose those weights. And then so I recall those days where I have to do so much of intense workout to lose it, and then rolling from one place to another, and that was a different experience. So that's how I actually simply prepared myself and trained my body. And more of is your mental readiness, that how you prepare yourself. It is all pre-planning that you have to do. You have to know your body, your weaknesses specifically, that at what point you're going to break and where your body is not going to cooperate with you. That's where this mental strength comes in action, that you have to push yourself. And I really felt that thing while climbing those last less than 100 feet was like, for me, that I was saying to guide that please help me, I cannot make it. He said, if you won't climb, then I will make you submit over here. And then I thought of, oh man, everybody's on the top and I'm the left behind. Being a last man, I crawled up to the top that, I will complete the summit at all. So that was a mental, the strength I was able to push myself. So that's how I prepared. And with the time, so we have been preparing, and we have been planning this expedition since I believe last year, November, that we thought of we'll be going in month of May. And I thought of that I'll be celebrating my birthday. That was because the duration was from 14 to 22nd, and later on it was extended from 22nd to 28th, right? And then because of this lockdown, it got cancelled. So later on it was postponed, and then decided that we'll go now. So, but then also I thought of that I'll be keep practicing and preparing myself. And with the time I was like, I believe I was chasing Romil for everything. They said, what are the things I have to carry? Being a beginner as a first timer for this expedition, I really didn't know about this ABC of mountains. And the acclimatization, I have heard that it happens in the army. Then when they throw you in the high altitude, that you have to acclimatize your body. But I didn't really experience it ever in my life. In neither the snow or the chilly air, the air that you feel on your face while you're climbing up to the top.
Yeah.
So that was a very different experience. And after a long preparation and that long list of questions I thrown at Romil, and then he helped me out with those things, and he helped me out choosing the kit and the equipment and the bags and everything. Like, and I was asking how many things, and innerwears I have to get so that I don't want to get the frostbite, and I didn't know that we won't get the frostbite at that top, but as a precaution. So initially, it went well with the readiness thing, and then we started journey and reaching to the Solang Valley, and then the day came where we felt like, no, now this is the peak where we have to climb. And the very amazing factor was, like, I didn't saw that crevasses open on that for Mount Friendship. Just a day before I noticed there are crevasses, and I was like, oh my God, we have crevasses also. I only thought they are existing in the Siachen or somewhere, but the crevasses are also there, and it was like, it added more flavor to this trek, that okay, now it's not going to be easy then. And I started like simply like imagining that, oh, okay, if the crevasses are there, what are the steps, how we're going to climb, how we're going to go around it, and then the guides with us, they really played a crucial role, guiding us. Like, they are like the mountain goats jumping around you while you're climbing. You are, simply getting exhausted while you are struggling to get air in your lungs, and they are just jumping around you. So you can see the energy that they have, and it was quite motivating as well. Correct. So that's how we started climbing that part of that trek initially. So it was divided into some, you can say, two or three portions. Like we have the base camp one where we acclimatize our body. So when we went there, it was like we climbed two other the peaks around it so that we can acclimatize our body, and we wore this trekking shoes. And this was the first time for me that I was wearing a heavy trekking shoes, regular, apart from that, the regular ones that we usually wear. Okay, the show-offs one that we wear around in. So it was difficult to getting gel up with these shoes, and you have to train your foot accordingly, that where to place and how to place, and your leg have to carry that weight. So I remember, just for these specific things, later on I added this weighted vest that I bought, because I knew that I'll be carrying my own weight, and being a young chap, I thought that it would be not ideal and nice to ask someone to carry my bag. And again, you have to train your body, because there will be things that you will be carrying on your own. So I trained my body using the weighted vest and the upper body, and for the lower ones I got the ankle weights. So the anklets, basically I use those while running and doing some different running techniques, so that I can train my legs. And when we are wearing those shoes, specifically the snow shoes, I never wore it in my life, but the moment I wore it, I was not able to stand properly because there was no flexibility left in the ankles, so it was very stiff. So those ankle weights, the training that I did helped me, and so because of that muscle memory, I was able to control my legs. I was like, in the very initial minutes, I was feeling like my legs are taking me to the different direction, and I want to go to the different direction. It was like I was drunk, and Romil said to me, "You drunk, like you are walking like a drunk person." Then, so again, it was a funny moment. So that's how I actually trained my upper body and the lower body, and accordingly the core is strength. And Romil added the more flavors to it by doing a push-up every time we climbed to the any peak for the acclimatization and coming down to the base camp. So that simply built a more muscle memories, and simply it was good exercise to acclimatize your lungs in that atmosphere. And post that. Yeah, with the time, as we when we climbed to the base camp 2, which is a lady leg, and then it was at a different height then, and then we climbed to different other peaks to acclimatize more, and so then we got those these snow boots, which were actually my I was afraid of that. If I'm going to wear them, how I'm going to, handle those things, how I'll be able to work. I didn't know how they're going to work with me. And so again, it took a bit of time to train our legs and the coordination of mind. And also when you're at the high altitude with the less air and the thin air, so you have to train your brain because the things are not as fast as on the low altitudes. So you have to train your mind in a way that you do the things right. Otherwise, somewhere you're going to fall down around or you'll be rolling down to the valley somewhere. That's the thing. And that's how basically, so, but I'll say one thing, Romil, that I really saw that leadership, the leadership quality, and that the way you actually pick the things for us, like, I remember the day we went for this setting up a summit camp. We were wearing we were wearing the snow boots, and we had a challenge with the rocks, because there are the Rocky Mountains as well around. So we have to climb that rocky part first, and then we have to go to the snow to build us simply a tent, or set up a tent at the summit camp, right? Because that will be our final stop where we have to climb the final ascent.
Right. Yeah.
So the next day, you came with the thought that we are going within the trek shoes. It didn't came to any of us, it didn't came into our mind, in any of us, our mind. So what I felt like, it is only that you learn these things or you observe these things, then only you learn these things with the time, with the experience. Then you came with the thought, no, we will be only climbing in the trek boots wherever, wherever we saw this, rocky areas. So we climbed in our trekking boots to the rocky areas where the snow started. Then we started wearing our snow boot. So that's really helped us. It was like saving your last bit of energy for the final push. And also it was like the things were so aligned in a way that you have to. I remember saying that if you're carrying even a 1 gram is going to impact you on the higher, right? So I was only thinking, like, I left everything, like toothbrush, everything, and we didn't brush our teeth for a couple of days, so we left it behind. And then basically, I only carried the 2 extra cells, the batteries, the AAA batteries for my headlamps in case something goes wrong. And I was only carrying the one thing with me except this water bottle, because those are the essential things, right? And I dropped everything at the base camp too. So that was again, like, I really observed these things from very, very close, the activities we were doing. So closely I was observing everything and learning that how you lead the team, how you motivate them, how you simply save their energy. Because being as a beginner, I don't know. If I would have been into snow boots, I would have climbed all the rocky areas. And it would have been very difficult for me, and I would have been struggling, climbed. And I struggled day before our final, going to the summit camp. I really struggled that. And that was a really good point, a good thought that it came with, that we should use this trek boots. And that thought didn't came to my mind. So it is the takeaway that you not only always just focus on the final goal, you have to like plan the things accordingly, stepwise. That how you're going to reach to the top. You cannot climb in a one day. So you have to go stepwise. And in stepwise, at every step, you will be having the different challenges. It might be the rocky areas or the snows or the deep holes, anything. So you have to prepare with it. And that comes with the time, with the experiences. Experiences. So that was amazing. So that was very amazing and a fantastic experience with that. And the day I remember, even like Romil was pushing me as being as the last man, he was pushing me, and he was simply putting his energy bars into my mouth, like, eat it and chew it and just climb, don't stop. And I was being the last man, I was just staying behind, and I was thinking, still there's a lot to climb. And I was just recalling all those stories from the Kargil War, where the soldiers had to carry a rifle in their weight as well as, and they had to fight at those altitudes. So that was really like that stories actually, those stories specifically gave me the courage and that the motivation to climb. No, I'll climb on the top. I have to, and because that, I've been so like moved by these stories that happened at the Kargil time, and that really motivated me. And especially when we were doing Josh, I was feeling, really we have achieved something. So this push-up really like put it all the joy inside, that whatsoever the tiredness was gone at all.
Right. And, so Amul, I'll just interrupt you for a sec. So all those people who want to ask any questions, feel free to ask. We'll be happy to address whatever questions you have in the chat box. And apart from that, as Amul said in the beginning, I'll aptly call him a civilian soldier. And if you keep me and Amul at one side, he looks more Fauji. His conduct is more Fauji than me. That is for sure. So that was one thing I felt, that we had other team members as well, and nothing against anyone. But I was never in doubt that Amul is not going to climb. As he said, even if it meant crawling up to the top, I knew this guy would do it, and this was very, at times, everybody is. He was able to, keep pushing on and on because of his mental fortitude and the kind of things, which keeps him going. And as he said, he's been moved by Kargil story. So everybody has to dig deep inside and find out, what he's made of to take it to the top. So Amul, amazing settings. But tell me one thing, I'll ask something which I've not asked you earlier. Once we had a debrief, tell me one point, wherein you felt closest ki yaar ab nahi hoga. Was there a point anytime like that? Or, what was that point? Just share that.
Yeah, initially it came, sir. It was like again when by my all that the body strength was totally exhausted. It was just only a mental strength that I wanted on the top, but my body was not responding to accordingly, right? And the moment came from that I saw you and everyone has climbed that. I being a last man, I was just crawling and struggling to climb up. When I told this guide Saab, I am not able to. I don't know why so, but I am not able to climb up. And then so he said, if you will not go there now, then I will make you submit here. And that was the moment, man. It's just 30 minutes left, and if I'm not going to push myself, this is where you have to push yourself mentally then. And even
Right.
so I'll tell you what had happened, and it's for everyone that when I climbed to the top, I was not able to stand, and I simply climbed and ran, and lied into one of my fellowship, Tarun, actually. So I fell into his lap, and I told him, man, I'm totally dead now. So and everybody was celebrating, and I was totally lost. Man, finally I reached and completed the summit. So he gave me something to eat, and I was not able to hold it in my hand. So I told him, put it into my mouth. So I was
Wonderful.
lying there, yeah, and I was opening my mouth, and he was feeding me sweets and feeding me dry fruits and feeding me and giving me the water, and I was sipping it from water. After a moment, when I got this energy from these dry fruits and the chocolates and this sweets, then I was able to say, yeah, Josh, finally I have it. Because
Indeed,
I
man.
really felt, yeah. So it's really very important you plan the resources. You train your body in a way that your body doesn't get exhausted. So even if you are mentally able to push yourself, if your body is not responding to it, you won't be able to do it technically, right?
Yeah.
So you will be only standing or lying somewhere. So that was the thing. So I thought of, no, I should have carried more chocolates or something, like I should have carried more protein bars. So that was a learning, a takeaway for me. But
Right.
yeah, at some points everybody has a limit, and I really met my limit, and I really wanted to see. And initially when I chose for this trek, that I'm going for this friendship peak, Romil told me that it is not a beginner trek, man, it's an intermediate. And I said that was a moment, okay, this is the thing where I will be testing my mental and physical ability. The mountains is really going to test me, and they really tested me well. And I'm very proud that
Indeed.
at least I was able to make it. And finally, as the saying, there's a saying that the mountains conquer you, don't conquer them. They really conquered me, and I'm really feel like I'm blessed now that they granted me, and they allowed me to
Yeah.
climb to the summit. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it, because within a 10 seconds, the weather went, it's like weather
Yeah.
went wrong and something, and everywhere there was a snow. It was totally a white
White
black
out.
thing. You couldn't see. And I remember holding your hand coming down through a rope. So it was a different experience. So yeah, again,
Indeed. Yeah. That's why we say that, physically almost everybody would give up. It's just that the mental fortitude which keeps you pushing on and on. And I must mention Rajini, because Rajini was a different
yeah,
story. The moment she saw the summit and we couldn't see her, she was running
yeah,
ahead till the time she reached the top. And you really pushed hard yourself. That's where everyone has to dig deep to find out what they are made of. And once they reach the top, and as you said, we were damn lucky because
yeah,
the weather immediately packed up. Though we could not see the surroundings and all, but then
yes.
that's secondary. The moment or the happiness
That's
of
secondary.
reaching the
Yes,
summit,
yes.
that's indeed. So tell me, what was your experience? Because this was the first summit. I distinctly remember each and every step of my first summit, which because first is always special. How was your feeling once you reached the top of the Friendship Peak?
So throughout this expedition, as the team was very mature and the team was very pro, I must say,
Yeah.
because the people were already so experienced, and including you as well, so much exposure to this mountaineering. There are many takeaways that how to put the steps and how to simply follow the guidelines. It's very important that you really follow the guides. You really follow
Yeah.
the rules. Because if rules are meant to be broken, there this is not the place where you break them. Because if you break
Indeed.
them, you will lose a life. So that's the
You got
thing. And initially, they have observed closely, and at every step, like Dhananjay sir, if I say how it's been simply being a social guy, he was always ahead of us, and whenever we are climbing, and again being a social guy, he is always ahead of us, a separate person leading when we are climbing down. So the
Right.
takeaway is like basically that what I learned, you have to be always work as a team, because you are not only
Yeah.
the one who's climbing. So, and you have to simply learn the things in a manner it is not going to only you're going to leave it in the mountains. You're going to take it with yourself everywhere, because it's going to give you simply telling you about yourself, your body, your abilities. And also, like I remember sitting in the camp where everybody was sharing their story, and I was feeling like, oh man, they are the pros. I'm the only one with nothing background.
Right.
I felt like they are going to run away on the top, and I will be the left behind, that I will be climbing that. But again, it was a team effort that everybody
Yeah.
helped me, and everybody pushed everyone, that if
Yeah.
somebody is stuck, we talk about Rajni, she really did well, she performed well,
Yeah.
and having such a wonderful story that she had, and she
Yeah.
has actually, but the way she put in her all efforts, it was amazing. I was just behind her, and I remember when we reached to this cold thing, at that point, she ran quickly to the top, and I was standing there. Oh, she has reached to the top now. I just left behind,
Fabulous.
and I was, yeah, and I was just behind her, and she ran with Tarun on the top, and then I see, okay, everybody's climbing now. I'm the left. I have to push myself now. This is the time. So, and also with the time that the learnings, I'll say that how you simply coordinate with the teams, and it was like really great team that we never like
Yeah.
gossip about something. We shared our experience. They shared our experiences. We observed as a beginner, and even Rajni, simply observed the things well. She learned,
Yeah.
and everybody sharing story like the Dhananjay sir and Divyani ma'am, and she's pro, but again she also had a tough time climbing up, but she made it because she got that kind of an endurance. So it's again
Right.
you observe the things in a way that these are your takeaways. And again, so every time you were telling them, no, this is going to be the situation. We are going to the summit camp, and then we are going to climb in the midnight. And I said, okay, man, it's going to be a night stalker mission. Then we are going to attack it under the
True.
stars. I was under the impression, oh man, they're going to climb on the top under the stars now. So it's going to be a
Yeah.
night mission. So I was under that impression. And then I started picturizing everything. Okay, so going to climb the thing, how it would be like, and there are crevasses also, and I was afraid of that. Okay, man, there are crevasses
Correct.
also. I have to go by the side of it, around it, not from the top of it. So those are the things that you picturize. Being a beginner, it
Yeah.
was like being a child who's going first time to the zoo, or just to the playground, that okay, he'll be doing this and that, but I couldn't make it. I couldn't do that of thing. I thought of that I'll be calling my wife, and I'm calling my family from the top, but I was lying on
Right.
in the lap of a Tarun, that okay, I couldn't get a phone out of my pocket. I said out to myself, okay, I'll go down and I'll call them, but not this is not the right place, because I'm totally exhausted.
Obviously,
That
nice
was
decision. Nice decision, I must say. And you said it, as you said, night mission. We are so happy that night mission was successful.
yeah.
And heartiest congratulations to you and the
Thank you, sir.
complete team. Amazing, amazing, amazing setup. So don't look at Amul. All those who are listening, don't look at Amul and call us tomorrow that you want to do Friendship Peak.
Yeah.
You need to be prepared for it.
Yes,
Because
indeed, very
we
true.
don't, frankly speaking, we don't take everyone to the next step unless we know. Amul, we knew it. We've been interacting for, as he said, since November, December last year. So we knew that, he'll be able to do it. And we try to push people, but only pushing only helps once there is a support from your side, once we know that, this person will be able to do it. Otherwise, if there's a step, please follow that. Don't call me tomorrow saying that Amul ko you allowed and now we should also event. That's not going to happen. At least not with us. If you are well physically and if you are mentally strong, we'll surely be able to do it. But then not this. There are few questions. Let's try and answer them. And meanwhile, anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. So there is a question by Dave. He wants to know how did wearing crampons felt like for the first time? Yeah, that's an interesting one because I remember I used to have a tough time in my initial days
Yeah.
of expeditions. Not just crampons, but those heavy boots, as you said. Share your experience. Yamul, can you share your experience about wearing crampons for the first time?
Yes, so I felt like being into the snow. I had this stories like where you see the snows, you have these snows till your knees. So wearing a crampons, I was already feel like my legs are already blocked with the concrete thing, and I was not able to lift it and simply walk. It was like when you were putting a stamp of a when you stamp on the ground, basically in the ice, it gets so much space that you have to really pull it with this strength, and then you have to go for the next step. So it was like very difficult. Like it's not so easy. That's why the ankle weight training that I did, it really helped me, and even I gained a bit of a weight on the upper body, but the lower body is still more slimmer than before. I must say it's because there's so much effort we put in through our this legs, the workout,
Right.
basically walking. So we have been working like the entire day acclimatizing, and the last day was like 15 or 16 hours we have been walking continuously. So again, so you have to train your legs. So crampons are not the easy thing. So if you are a beginner, then you really have to work hard on it.
Indeed. So there's another question by Mackenzie. It's from Gaurav. He wants to know that do you feel scared or tensed? Achha, this is for Romil. Do you feel scared or tensed being a team leader when weather turns bad or unfavorable? So, with experience, what we realize, we are able to anticipate to a certain extent. It's not that 100% you'll be able to say, but then with the pattern which is being made, you are able to judge that how difficult the weather is going to be. And then we take calculated risk, that way Fauji background helps that you understand that, if the weather is going to be, if the weather is now like this, after some time within an hour or two, it will turn maximum in this way and we'll be able to pull the team to a safer zone. And like what happened with us, the moment we reached the summit camp, the weather was again, snowfall was still happening, but then we were able to pull it off easily with, our stunts of sliding down and all, which was again a different experience.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
it
that
helps
was
to be
a part
experienced.
of it.
Right.
No, it was a really initiative, like dividing a team into a two part that the few people will go by while walking, but later on it was like given like kind of free hand that if you want to go down, you can slide down. So it was a almost like more than a half kilometer or maybe around 800 meters or maybe a kilometer that we went sliding down. I remember me, Dhananjay and a couple of other folks went to the summit camp. I came throughout sliding down. Just only the crevasses area we cleared, and then I came sliding down, and it didn't bother me that it's the ice and I'm going to get wet. I didn't feel this coldness at all till the time I reached the base camp. Then only I realized, okay, now totally I am wet and now it's a bit cold now.
No,
That was
indeed,
amazing experience.
we too were surprised because you guys were not visible at all. We were just walking and couldn't see anyone. The moment we reached the tent, then we realized, you and Dhananjay were the stalwarts and champions in.
Yes.
Great.
So we were the first to reach to the summit camp, just before Suresh actually. Yeah, he went ahead.
Great. Yeah, Suresh, you cannot compare. He's a differently god.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So, Amol, that's what we had time for today. Being a Fauji, we have tried and restrict ourselves to the time we have. So amazing listening to you. And thank you so much for joining. Indeed, I am sure people would have got a lot of takeaways. In case you have any more questions, you can feel free to ping him or us. And I'm sure Amol, being such a true sport, he'll be happy to answer whatever questions you have about his experiences. Thank you so much, Amol.
I'll add something in the last that being like if I will say truly by my heart that if it wouldn't been a boots and crampons on you, I couldn't have made it. It was even I've been putting so much effort. See, it is all about the leadership quality that you anticipated, you took the initiative, and you took the calls at certain points where if I'll say the person who's not experienced not wouldn't have been would have done that. So I really feel like now I was under your supervision. I was more happy than okay, Rommel is going to lead it, and the same with the Bharat. Even if I feel like if it wasn't a boots and crampons, I couldn't have made it because I don't know how other organizations work, but I really feel like now I feel like a part of a family of these boots and crampons. So I really am thankful that this achievement is not only mine, is everyone's. Is as a team, as a family of boots and crampons, and under your supervision, it was amazing. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to more of it then. So hopefully I'm going to bother you soon. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Amol, for the kind words. This pushes us to do much more and do it better. And we hope that Boston Scientific does the job and leads.
I'll share them these live streams so that they can realize they got a chap and there's a right place for him. So I hope I can also, I can. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. All the best, Amol. Thank you so much for your time. We really enjoyed listening to you and looking forward to many more summits in times to come with clear weather once we reach the summit.
Clear weather.
Right. Bye bye. Thank you. Jai Hind, bhai.
Jai Hind, sir.